Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into UFOs.
Ooh,
And not just the sightings themselves,
right.
but the whole, government involvement, investigations, maybe even cover-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff you gave me makes me think you're really interested in the deep state,
Mm,
how it plays into all this.
it's really interesting what you've got here.
Yeah,
Decades of reports, documents, analysis.
yeah.
Seems like you want more than just stories.
Right.
You want to know how this whole narrative got shaped?
Exactly. And I guess the best place to start is the summer of 47.
Okay.
That's when things really blew up, right?
Mhm.
Kenneth Arnold, 9 crescent-shaped objects zipping over the Cascades.
What people forget is how different things were then.
Yeah,
We've got declassified documents now, satellite imagery, all sorts of data.
right.
But in 47, even a weather balloon test was top secret.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
No context made even normal stuff seem crazy.
Ah.
Public fear, speculation, the whole 9 yards.
So it wasn't just the sightings, it was the secrecy,
Exactly.
which made everything seem bigger.
Yeah, amplified everything.
But even with all that going on, there were still people trying to figure it out, right?
Uh-huh.
Like Project Sign?
Oh, yeah, the Air Force's first UFO investigation?
What was that like?
Project Sign is really interesting because those guys were serious. They really thought they might be onto something big.
Wow.
But it was the Cold War, too, you know?
Right.
The Pentagon was scared stiff of the Soviets.
So every blip on the radar was a potential Sputnik.
You got it.
Yeah.
Any sign of advanced tech, especially if they couldn't identify it, triggered all kinds of
Right.
alarms.
That makes sense. So we have to keep that in mind when we look at Roswell.
Absolutely. Roswell changes everything.
Just weeks after Arnold, we have a rancher, Mac Brezel, finding debris in New Mexico.
Right.
And the Roswell Army Airfield says they found a flying disc.
That initial report, it describes a huge debris field
Wow.
full of these lightweight metallic pieces, unlike anything anyone had ever seen before.
Wow.
But there's also this intense secrecy.
Yeah.
Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer,
Right.
and Captain Sheridan Cavett from counterintelligence, they were sworn to secrecy. They controlled all the information.
Sounds like a spy movie.
Right.
And then the next day, the Air Force says it was just a weather balloon.
Yeah, a weather balloon.
What's going on here?
That's what everyone wanted to know.
Yeah.
The story just didn't make sense,
Yeah,
especially with all the secrecy.
Right.
Then years later, Cavett says it was a cover-up.
Wait, really?
Sworn affidavit and all.
Wow.
Said the weather balloon thing was a lie. And that the stuff they found was like nothing he'd ever seen.
So he changes his story decades later.
It happens a lot with this topic.
Yeah.
Makes it hard to know what to believe.
Right.
Conflicting accounts.
Yeah,
Was he pressured to lie at first?
maybe.
Did his memory change?
Could be.
Or was there a real effort to hide something big?
It makes you wonder. So we've got this pattern, right? Extraordinary events, and then people say it was nothing.
Right.
And this is where the deep state comes in.
Yeah, that shadowy group pulling the strings.
Right.
We have to be careful with that term, though.
Okay.
Deep state, it's thrown around a lot. It can mean different things to different people. Some say it's a group with a plan. Others say it's just the system protecting itself.
So not necessarily evil masterminds, but just the way things work.
Exactly. But however you define it. The UFO narrative changing after Roswell, it makes you think, you know?
It does. And the 1952 Washington, D.C. sightings are a good example.
Oh, yeah, the D.C.
It
sightings.
weeks. Radar operators, pilots, even people on the ground see these strange things flying around.
The Air Force just dismissed it at first.
Of course.
Misidentified aircraft, weather, nothing to see here.
Maybe.
But there were too many witnesses, too many credible people.
Yeah.
So they had to come up with something better.
And that's where the temperature inversion comes in.
Right.
They said the weather messed up the radar, making it look like there were objects that weren't there.
A convenient explanation.
Very convenient.
But when you look closer, it doesn't hold up.
Oh,
The radar guys weren't even at the press conference.
really?
Pilots who saw the objects said it wasn't weather.
Huh.
And the media, it seems like they were told to downplay it all.
So, a coordinated effort to control the story.
It sure looks like it.
Making people think everything was fine, even though it wasn't.
Exactly.
And it makes you wonder, if it was nothing,
Yeah.
why it worked so hard to cover it up?
Right. If it's just weather or a mistake, why not just say so?
It seems like there's more to it than they're letting on.
That's what a lot of people think.
And that brings us to Project Blue Book.
Blue Book, the Air Force's big UFO investigation.
From 52 to 69?
Right.
Supposed to give us some answers?
At first, it was about science,
Okay.
analyzing reports, separating fact from fiction.
Right.
But over time, it changed.
Really?
It became more about PR, reassuring the public, debunking sightings.
Like J. Allen Hynek?
Oh yeah, Hynek, the Blue Book scientist.
He started as a skeptic,
Right.
but ended up thinking some UFOs were real.
Hynek's story is interesting.
Yeah.
It shows what was happening inside Blue Book.
Like an internal struggle.
Yeah. Started as a real investigation.
Right.
Then became something else.
Like what?
More like a disinformation campaign.
Huh.
Cases dismissed without a real look.
So even the official investigation was part of the cover-up.
That's what some people say.
That's hard to know what to believe.
It is?
And then we get to the Condon Committee.
1966, the Condon Committee.
It's supposed to be the final word on UFOs.
A scientific study to end the debate.
Right.
But it didn't quite work out that way.
What happened?
The Condon Committee. It was a mess from the start. Accusations of bias. Researchers disagreeing with each other.
Really?
Some thought the conclusions were already decided.
Before they even started.
That they were set up to debunk UFOs.
So even the scientists were influenced by politics.
That's the argument.
And then they said students shouldn't study UFOs.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Why would they say that?
Unless they were afraid of what the students might find.
Right. It's like they wanted to control what people could learn.
That's how it looks.
Trying to control the narrative.
We see that a lot with this topic.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme.
If there's nothing to hide, why all the secrecy?
Exactly. Why discredit witnesses, bury information, discourage research? It just makes you more suspicious.
Right. Makes you think there's something they don't want us to know.
Okay, so we're past the Condon Committee now.
Yep.
And things get even more secretive.
Yeah, we're getting into the shadows now.
Clandestine programs, covert operations, whispers of secret projects.
And one of the most interesting examples is Project Moondust.
Moondust? What's that?
Officially, it was about recovering space debris.
Okay.
But some people say it had another purpose, something a lot more secret.
Yeah.
Well, the official records are pretty hush-hush, you know.
Yeah, I figured.
But we get these hints from guys like Brigadier General Arthur Exon.
Exon.
He was stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He said there were teams investigating UFOs. Totally separate from Project Blue Book.
Wait, so there are like two investigations going on?
That's what Exxon claimed.
Wow. Hidden from the people officially looking into UFOs.
That's right.
That's crazy. What were the secret teams after?
Good question.
Yeah.
Exxon said they were looking for foreign technology.
Foreign technology, like what?
He didn't say.
Huh.
Could be Soviet tech, something else entirely.
Okay.
Some people even say it was alien tech.
Wow. So we've got secret teams, maybe collecting alien stuff. Are we getting into secret space program territory here?
This is where things get really interesting.
Right.
But also where the evidence gets shaky.
Yeah.
We've got to be careful not to jump to conclusions.
Of course.
But think about it.
Yeah.
If there was technology way ahead of ours, it would change everything.
Totally. World power, everything.
Governments wouldn't just ignore that.
No way. If you had tech like that, you'd keep it secret, right?
Absolutely. It'd be the ultimate weapon.
The ultimate trump card.
Exactly.
So what evidence do we have of these secret programs?
Well, we've got Reagan.
Reagan, the Star Wars guy.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan.
What does he have to do with UFOs?
Reagan was really into UFOs.
Really?
He talked about it with his advisors all the time. He even brought it up with other world leaders.
Seriously? What did he say?
One story is from a meeting with Gorbachev in 1985.
Gorbachev, the Soviet leader.
Yeah, in Geneva.
Okay.
Reagan asked him, what would you do if aliens attacked the U.S.? Would you help us?
Wow. That's a pretty intense question for a Cold War meeting.
Right.
What did Gorbachev say?
He said, without a doubt.
Wow. Just like that.
Yeah, no hesitation.
That's crazy. So they weren't just joking around.
It seems like they were both worried about an alien threat.
Did Reagan ever say anything publicly about this?
He did.
He did?
At the UN in 1987.
What did he say?
He said, maybe we need an alien threat to unite us. I think about how our differences would vanish if we were facing something from outer space.
That's a pretty powerful statement. It does sound like he's hinting at something.
Some people think so.
Like he knows more than he's saying.
Right.
Others might say he was just trying to make a point about global cooperation and stuff.
That's possible too.
But the way he said it, it really makes you wonder.
Especially when you consider all his private conversations about UFOs.
Right. It paints a very interesting picture.
It does.
Like maybe there was more going on behind the scenes.
Maybe.
Okay, let's say these secret programs exist and they have this advanced technology. What does that mean for us?
It would change everything.
Yeah, it would be huge.
Our history, our place in the universe, everything.
The idea of a breakaway civilization with crazy tech.
It's exciting and scary at the same time.
It is. Exciting because of the possibilities, but scary because we might be totally outmatched.
Like ants looking up at a spaceship.
Right. It's humbling, to say the least.
It is.
Makes you realize how little we know.
And how much is still out there.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the Air Force, CIA, Project Blue Book. What about the other branches of the military?
Good question.
Yeah, were they involved too?
For a long time, it was mostly the Air Force.
Okay.
But lately, the Navy has been front and center.
You're talking about those videos from 2017.
The Pentagon videos.
Yeah, the ones with the objects doing impossible things.
Those were a game changer.
They really were.
Objects moving in ways we can't explain.
Defying physics.
And the Pentagon confirmed they were real.
So it's not a question of, did we see something anymore?
Right.
It's, what did we see and who made it?
It changes the whole conversation.
Big time.
Those videos got everyone interested in UFOs again.
Yeah, even people who didn't believe before.
And it put pressure on the government.
To tell us what they know.
Exactly.
And it seems like it worked.
Well, to some extent.
Congress had hearings on UFOs.
Yeah, the first in over 50 years.
And the Pentagon made a task force to investigate.
The UAPTF, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force.
Right.
In 2020.
So after all this secrecy, they're finally taking it seriously.
It seems that way.
What do you think changed?
A few things. Maybe.
Like what?
Maybe the UFOs are different now?
Different how?
More advanced? Maybe bolder in what they do?
So not just more UFOs, but weirder UFOs.
It's possible.
Okay, what else?
Maybe our technology's better now.
So we can see things we couldn't before.
We've got better radar, better sensors.
Right.
Stuff that can see things we never could before.
So maybe they've always been there, and now we can finally see them.
That's one possibility.
Wow.
And then there's another possibility.
What's that?
Maybe the government changed its mind.
About being secretive.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
It's a mystery.
It is, after all these years of denying everything.
Some people say it's about national security.
National security? How?
Maybe they've confirmed there's advanced tech out there.
Alien tech.
Maybe.
Okay.
And they figure, we need to know.
In case of an alien invasion or something.
Right. Better to prepare us than to let us panic.
Like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Exactly.
What else?
Maybe they're trying to control the story.
By being open about it.
Yeah.
So they can manage what we know.
Exactly. Release information on their terms.
Prevent crazy rumors and stuff.
Right.
Control the narrative.
Like a controlled drip of information.
Makes sense. What's the last possibility?
Maybe they just want to be honest.
Really?
Maybe some people in the government
Yeah.
think we deserve to know the truth.
That would be nice. After all the lies and cover-ups, a little honesty would be refreshing.
It would.
So we've got a lot of possibilities here.
We do.
It's hard to know which one is right.
That's the thing about UFOs.
Yeah.
It's all tangled up with secrecy and misinformation.
And hidden agendas.
Right.
It's a story that's still being written.
And it will probably keep us guessing for a long time.
No kidding. So where do we go from here? We've gone from shaky pictures to Congress talking about UFOs. What needs to happen next?
We need more transparency from the government.
Right.
More data, more evidence, more analysis.
Yeah, like all the stuff they've been keeping secret.
Exactly.
But it can't just be the government telling us what they want, right?
No, we need independent analysis.
Like scientists who aren't working for the government.
Exactly. People who can look at the evidence with fresh eyes.
And no biases.
Right. No preconceived notions.
So we need physicists, engineers, astronomers.
All kinds of experts working together.
To figure this out.
And we have to be ready for what we find.
Even if it's not what we want to hear.
Even if it changes everything we thought we knew.
That's a good point. And this is where the listeners come in, right?
Exactly. You can't just sit back and wait for answers.
We have to be active participants.
There's so much information out there.
Yeah, it's overwhelming sometimes.
You have to be careful.
Right. Not everything you read is true.
You have to think critically.
Learn to separate fact from fiction.
Exactly. Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
So it's not just about waiting for the government or scientists.
No, it's about being informed.
Asking questions, demanding answers.
Holding those in power accountable.
This deep dive has been a wild ride.
It has.
Early sightings, cover-ups, secret space programs, alien tech.
We've covered a lot of ground.
It feels like we're just getting started.
It does, doesn't it?
The conversation is finally changing.
After all these years of people dismissing UFOs,
Now we've got serious investigations, government acknowledgement.
people are starting to realize this is important.
It shows that we're still learning.
Our understanding of the universe is always changing.
What we think is impossible today might be normal tomorrow.
Exactly. We have to be open to new possibilities.
I like that.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay, shoot.
If there's nothing to hide,
Yeah.
if it's all just mistakes and weather balloons,
Right.
then why all the secrecy?
Yeah, why discredit witnesses?
Why suppress information?
Why manipulate what people think?
It doesn't add up.
It really doesn't. It makes you wonder what they're so afraid of.
It's a question we've been asking for a long time,
And we might not have the answer yet.
but we're getting closer.
I hope so.
The truth is out there.
We just have to keep looking for it. This has been an amazing deep dive.
It has.
And I think we'll be talking about this again soon.
I'm sure we will.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, keep looking up.